Hi and welcome back to my channel. In this lesson I'm going to show you how to maintain your sale invoice details, the detail of the items that has been sold in a particular invoice. This is what we are going to do, and it has a lot. It will show you a lot of things like the credit limit of the customer and the balance amount and the available credit limit. And as you enter a product, for example I enter number 3, it will automatically show you the sale price, the cost price, and the available stock that is there. And if it is out of stock, it will show you the warning, it will show you in red color, and the format has changed, and a lot of things. Before proceeding into the lesson, let's have a quick revision of the previous lesson. In the previous lesson I've created this sale invoice in which there are so many things. It gives you the automatic warning about the customer if his credit limit is over and if he is blocked, and a fully dynamic list of the salesman and the total cost of goods, the gross profit. All of these things are calculated dynamically, the tax and the taxable amount, and the status of each and every invoice is updated automatically, whether it is partially paid, it is not paid, or it is fully paid. All these are dynamics with a lot of conditional formatting. So if you are new to the channel, I'll share the link of the previous lessons in the description, so you can watch them and follow our lessons, because these are continuous lessons and each and every lesson is related to the other one. So I'd prefer you watch the previous lessons also. So let's get started. The first thing I want is the last invoice number. The last invoice number that I have created, because I don't want to go back and forth to check which invoices. So I've already entered this invoice number. You can see here I've entered the invoice number 501 to Tahir, and the tax amount and the salesman name. I've entered it. Now I don't have to go back and forth. So I want the last invoice number to be dynamically displayed here. And to do that, we'll use the max formula is equal to max. Press tab and go back to the sale invoice. Select all this range. I'll select a long range, 999, press enter. I get the last invoice number here, and here I want the customer ID of this invoice, and to do that we'll use a VLookUp formula is equal to VLookUp. Press tab. I'll select this is my lookup value, comma, and the table and array is my sale invoices. So I'll go to the sale invoices. I'll select all this range from here till the salesman. I'll select a long range. It is 999. Press comma, and index is your previous lesson. I've showed you how to enter your column index dynamically. They'll change dynamically. So behind this cell in the first row, I've entered the index numbers, and you can watch that in customer lesson. When I create the customers, I'll explain all this in details. So my customer ID is in column E. I press comma, and I want the exact match, that is 0. So I get the customer ID. I'll just lock the cell ranges. I want it to be locked and my table array to be locked, and this I'll just leave it unlocked because I'm going to drag the formula and I want them to be updated automatically. Now I'll just copy this formula from here, Control C, press escape. I want the name, the city, and the district to be displayed in the center here. So I'll just enter the formula, Control V, and I'll update the column index now only. And in F, column F is the name. Press enter. I get the name, and I'll just copy this formula, Control C, and I'll concatenate it and space and then double quote and Control V. Now F is the name, G column is for the district, and so this way I get the district and the city together. Now what I want is the subtotal. So I'll just paste the formula here, Control V, and put equal to. So I get the name. My subtotal is in column H. So let's go. I'll just update the column index to H. Press enter. I get the subtotal. Now I'll just copy this formula, Control C, press escape, and go to discount, Control V. I'll update this from H to I. I get the discount. Now I'll change paste the same formula, H, Control V, and I'll change this J. I get the total, and the tax, Control V. The tax is in the tax and the net amount. Let me check this. The tax is in column K and the net amount is in M. So I'll go back. You see, tax is in column K and the net amount is in column M. Control V. So I'll just change I have to change the index numbers. This way I'll get So M is the net amount. We'll also check it again. Now what I want is when I enter I've already got the last invoice number. I'll enter here 501, press tab. To get the serial numbers dynamically, I'll use the CountIf formula, but in a different style, because what I want is if I enter here 501, then this number should change to 1. When I enter 501 again here, this serial number should go to 2 dynamically. So to do that, I have to fix this range. I mean, this range should grow as well as it should count the invoice numbers. And to do that, I'll use the CountIf formula is equal to count if, press tab. My range will be the first cell, start from the first cell. So I'll just write C6 again. And the criteria is also the invoice number. So in the criteria, I'll also write C6. Press enter. So it gives me number 1. I'll just explain it because it's a bit of confusing. As I click here, you can see the range starts from here. So the first cell will count this 501. That is the criteria. But as my range grows, I want this to count both of the cells. Now if I pull this down, I don't want it to count. I want this to be 2. And to do that, I'll just fix the first cell, so that my range will grow. As I pull the formula down, press enter, press F4 to lock the cell and press enter. Now as I pull the formula, it goes to 2. Why? Let me click here. You see, now it's counting from C6 to C7. The range has dynamically increased from C6 to C7, and it is counting C7 here. You see C7. Now it counts 502 twice, so it will automatically give me 2. Let me fill the formula here long to the end. Yes, so it gives me 2. Now as I write 502, press enter, the counting again start from 1. So this way we can get a dynamic counting of our serial numbers. And if there's no if there's no invoice here, I want this to be blank. And to do that, just I'll write equal to, if I'll just use the if statement, press tab, I'll select this cell equal to blank, comma, then return blank, all else, continue the formula, press enter, and I'll just double click the formula, and you see I get the blank cells. So this way our serial number is dynamic. The second thing is I want is my item ID. Whenever I enter an item ID, I've created the item list here. As previously I told you, you must create all these pages and with the entries if you can. I've created here an item ID, and the category, the description, the unit of measurement, the cost, the sale price, opening cost, stock balance, purchase, sales, stock administration, all these things I've created before in advance. You can also create them. And so I'll go back to the sale invoice detail. If I enter here an item ID, for example number 1, I want the catalog and its description and the unit of measurement to be dynamic, to display dynamically. To do that, we'll use just the VLookUp formula is equal to VLookUp, press tab, and the lookup value is 1. This is the item ID, comma, and I'll go to the items, and I'll select all this range from here till the cost price, because this is what I want, till the cost price. I'll select a long range, 999, comma, the column and index are always dynamic as I do before. So this is in column D, and what I want is the exact match, 0. Press enter. So I get the catalog, the category of that item here. So just copy this, Control C, press escape. The description is in the next column, Control V. So I'll just let me just lock this before proceeding, F4, and let me lock the table, F4, press enter. Now I'll copy the formula, Control C, press escape, go to description, Control V. Now instead of D, I want E, press enter. I get the description, and the unit of measurement is in the next column, and here I'll just press Control V, and instead of I write F, press enter. Automatically I get the unit of measurement. Now I have to calculate the quantity. Now as I enter the quantity, I want the name of the item, the cost, sale price, the cost price, and the stock to be displayed dynamically. Let's have a look at the formulas first. Here for E6, this is not locked, and I have to lock the row. this column index. So as I pull the formula, so the row stays there. I'll F4 and the row is locked, row number 1. Press enter. Here also the item is here, and to lock the row, F4 twice and the row is locked. And here also I want to lock the row. Yes. So now if I enter number 2, item number 2, I want this name to be displayed here dynamically. Let's fill the formulas, double click it, and the formulas fill. You see I get keyboard, all of them. I just want this NA. To remove the NA, I'll just use the if formula. If tab, this item ID is equal to blank, then return blank, comma. Press enter, and you see now double click it, so I get the blank spaces. I'll just copy this beginning of the formula, Control C, press escape, go to the next column and just paste it here, Control V, press enter, and I'll just paste it here also, Control V, enter. Now I'll just fill the formulas, double click. So I get, now when I add 2, I should get the name dynamic here, keyboard. And to do that, first I must know the ID that I'm entering here. I'll write the formula here, index. Ask me the error, where is my answer? I want the answer here. I'll select a long range, E999, comma. Now it asks me the row number, so I want the row number to be dynamic, and to get the row numbers, first I'll just enter the row number 1. He press enter, so you can see it returns number 1. That is the item ID. Now I want to count it dynamically. For that I'll use the CountA function to return the row number dynamically. I'll select this long range, 999, press enter. Now I'll copy this from here, Control C, press escape. I'll go back to the formula, and instead of row, I'll just paste the formula. I've explained this in previous lesson in detail, and press enter. Now I get 1. If I enter here number 2, I'll get 2 here dynamic. So now my ID is dynamic. With the help of this ID, I want to find, let me lock these ranges, press F4, and lock this range also, press F4, press enter. Now as I know the item ID, I'll use this item ID in the VLookUp formula. I'll just use VLookUp, press tab. Now the lookup value is this item ID, which I already have entered. Now I'll press comma, and the table and array is here, the item list. This is my table and array. I'll select all the range till the stock, because I want to display the stock also. So I'll select a long range here, 999, and comma. The return should be the name here, the description. I want to return this description, and the description is in column E. I want the exact match, 0. Press enter. Yes, you see I get the name dynamically. Now let me lock the ranges, F4, and this should be F4. Press enter. Now as I enter here number 2, you see the name changes automatically. Now I have to get the cost price of this item. What is the cost price of the item? I'll just copy this formula from here, Control C, press escape, go to the sale price, Control V, press enter, and my sale price is in, now this is in E, but my sale price is in column H, and the cost price is in G. So I'll go back to the sale invoice detail. I'll just change this reference to H, column index, press enter. Then I get the sale price, and just paste the formula, Control V. Let's just update this to G, press enter. I get the, now I want the stock, just paste the same formula, Control V, and I'll go back, and the stock is in column stock is in column M. So I'll just go to sale invoice detail and update this index number to M, press enter. So this way I get the stock and the sale price. Now I'll enter here the sale price, that is 5,200. Now I'll calculate the total. Total is equal to quantity multiplied by sale price, press enter. I get the total price, and you see here also now the subtotal is dynamically updated. Change the format to percentage, and I get the tax amount. Cost price is 5,000 Now the total cost of goods, this is equal to 5,000 multiplied by the quantity, that's 2, and this way I get 10,000, the total cost of goods. So as I'm creating the invoice, I want to show here the credit limit of this customer, that is Tahir. I want to show his credit limit and the due amount. Let me write here the due amount, that's more appropriate. Credit limit is available in the customer list here. You see, in this customer list I have the credit limit for each and every customer, so I'll copy, and the total balance is also available here. So I have to use a VLookUp formula to get the credit limit for this customer. So I'll use E is equal to VLookUp, press tab, the customer ID is this one, comma, and the table and array is in the customer list. From here I'll select this all range up to the credit limit, long range 999, press comma, and the column and index, as I've told you, always are in the top, so my credit limit is in column Q, comma, and I want the exact match, enter 0. So this way I get the credit limit. The credit limit for Tahir is 10,000. Let's see there. Let's go to customer. You see number 2, Tahir, his credit limit is 10,000. Now let's go back to the sale invoice details. Now I want to know the due amount. How much is the balance? Now I'll just copy this formula. Control C, press escape, and Control V, press enter. Now the due amount, that is the total balance, is in customer list, that is in column N. So I'll just have to update this to column N. Press enter. I get 11,900. He has crossed the credit limit. How much is credit available for him? Equal to this amount, the credit balance, minus this. So you see, I get minus. So let me remove the conditional formatting from here so I can show you. I can create it again. So I want this to be conditionally formatted. I'll go to conditional formatting, select new rules, and from here I'll select format only cell that contains and cell value is less than or equal to 0. I'll select here 0. Go to format. I'll fill with red color, and the font I'll select white. Click OK. Click OK. Now you see it automatically changes to red color. As I delete the quantity, the color will change. So I'll just, this way I can easily know that the invoice that I'm creating, whether it is exceeding the credit limit or not. If I enter 2, you can see it automatically shows me now you have exceeded the credit limit. Its credit limit was 10,000 and the due amount is 11,920. So this way you can easily know the credit limit. I also want to format this. If the cell value of this goes to 0 or is less than the stock, so it should change the color. I'll go to conditional formatting, new rules, cell contain cell value is less than or greater to less than or equal to 0, then the format should be fill should color be, it should be filled with red color, and the font should be white. Click OK. So click OK. Now this item number 2, item number 1, its quantity is 48. As I change the quantity here to 48, I'll just minus 48 here so that you can see. Now let me go back to sale invoice detail. You see it will automatically change to red color. So this way you can know if you are out of stock or not. Let me go back to the items and delete this. Now I want to apply a data validation for each and every invoice. Like my invoice is for 17 items. You see this here, this invoice which is going to build dynamically. So here the last item number is 17. And let me enter some invoice here, 501. Let me make it a quick, select a long range, Control D. So up to 17 I'll leave it, just delete this, and just I'll enter the item products 2, 3. I don't have 14, 16, so I'll just remove this. I'll start from 1 again, 2, 3, 4, just to show you. So now I have 17. As I enter another item, 501, 18, the 18th will not be displayed. Let's go back to here. You see the 18 is not displayed. Sale invoice detail. Let me write number 1. Quantity is 1 and the price is 5,200. See, now this is hard disk. Let's go to our sale invoice. You see the last is only item number 7. The 18 is not displayed, so we have to validate our data so that the user cannot enter items more than 17. There must be a warning for that. So to do that, I'll use data validation, and before using the formula and data validation, I'll just create the formula here. I'll just use the CountIf formula is equal to count. I've already created it here. Let's copy this formula. Control C, press escape, and Control V, enter. But here instead of C6, I want a long range. C999, press enter. Put an equal to sign. You see, it returns 17. As I enter another one, 501, it will dynamically return 18. So now the formula is correct. Let me copy this formula from here. Control C, press escape, and select all this range. Go to data validation, and from here I'll select custom, Control V, and this should be less than 18. So the count should be less than 18. If it goes to 18, it will give an error message. I will go to error alert, select here, type the title error, and here I'll display only error message, only 17 items per invoice are allowed. Click OK. Now just as I tap here 501 again, it will give me an error and a report. Press enter, keep trying as you type, but if you type 502, no problem, it will let you proceed. This way you can apply data validation so that by mistake they do not make any entries that you don't want. The last thing that remains is the search here. I want to search for the previous invoice, any other invoice. Let me add another one invoice here, 502, and the date 21/8, for example. The customer is 3, tax is 5%, and let me just add the salesman Abdullah. Let me go to sale invoice. Now if I want to hear 502, okay, now it dynamically displays the 502 here. Let me delete this note for this one. But I want to search for 501, for example. I want to enter 5401. I want to show the details of 501 here. Maybe I want to edit something or change or enter a new item. So I want to display this dynamically. To do that, I'll use an if formula. If tab this cell is not equal to blank, then it should display this value. Otherwise, it should continue with the formula. Press enter, and you see I get 501. As I delete this, I get 502. So this way I can search for the previous invoices. Hope you liked the video, and don't forget to share and subscribe the channel, and thanks for watching.